No, si umpatie weke tuko kwa nini? Ufanya mambo yako. Ama kidogo to this one first. I have to upload something here. Which internet are we using? Which internet are we using? Obinna Show Live or Obinna TV Extra? How come it's not working on my nini?
This one is not working.
No, but see Obinna Show Live. Connected without internet, nini? Or here you work? Here wa Munyoro. Aya, Davido nimekutumia squeeze back ya Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Utakuwa unaiweka tu hapo because it's Men's Mental Health Awareness. So in all episodes just put it. Kwanza sana hapo in the beginning inaweza sana. Karibuni sana. Rogers Omukuba, watu wa Mogadishu, welcome. I can see you. Odhiambo Dennis, Kutus tuko locked in. Stacy Scarlett watching from Komarok. Gladys Fein nimekucheki. Beryl karibu sana. Zipi karibu. Jude Lucas, Lilian Jalemba, Master P Creation, mambo. We have Feni Roji, Rama Roni nimekucheki. Karibu sana. Shedi Kungu, karibu. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Yes, we're about to get this one as well. Maggie Wisdom, karibu sana, nimekucheki. Tell your friend to tell your sister to tell your brother that tumerudi. Yeah, waambie tumerudi maze, tumemwokalize. I think nini yangu ndio iko na nini. Ni yenyu ama ni yangu? Wow. Mambo ni live. We are not taking no prisoners. Iko tu sawa. Jangu iko na delay kidogo. Nani ako na katululu hapo mulika mwizi? Plug it for me tafadhali. Obinna, ikifika kwa maswali muulize who is the alternative of Ruto because we all know politicians are the same. BKY TV, swali yako iko hapa. Who is alternative? Haya. Alternative. I got you. Of WSR. Haya, nimekupata. That is BKY TV. All right. Itafika mali pa maswali, mutaleta zote. Ati beast is in the house. Hey, oh wow, okay. Obinna, why don't you stream on Facebook? We are working on it. Usiogope. Obinna mgote sana. Nimemgotea, amegoteka. Watching from Umoja. Daniel Mudhai, nimekucheki pia. Wanjigi and Wakili Willis for president. Kuna watu umelipa wa nini? Yeah, huyu kuna wachezaji wa Zanri imeingia M-Pesa kokodonjo. Kuna watu wamekuja kurepresent huku. Mashilingi zimeingia. Okay, watching from Doha, Qatar, tuko pamoja. Atisemeni one time. Oh, okay. Australia locked in. Karibu sana. Watching live from Doha, nimekucheki. Ati Obinna, are you able to get Wanjigi? Oh, okay. Jude Lucas, mwenye amekaa hapa sasa ni running mate wa Wanjigi. Atafanya mambo yake, usiogope. Yeah? Ati muulize mbona Eika. What's Eika? Yeah, mutaletizo maswali hiyo. Eika, sija understand what you mean, but we're gonna get round to it. Yes. Piki Ponki. Yeah, huyo ni yeye. The Pakamielo Disco himself is in the building. Aya, sawa. Hello Obinna, are you? Okay, Saulete. Okay, Leo nimetajwa. All right. Okay, Lagos is locked in. Muulize mbona tribal card in apply kwa Gachagua, but all politicians are tribal. Dennis Migisi. Aya. Tribal card. By the way, pia tuwafanyie ile calculation ya venye voting. There's a way you always call it, the way the people vote, the voting blocks. We can call it that for now. Say voting blocks. Yeah, we'll also talk about the voting blocks. So you do the psychology behind voting. Musikire voting, what wanna vote to Evo, all right? And then we can also talk about the Finance Bill 2025, all right? We'll also talk about that one. Finance Bill 2025. We'll also do that one. Yeah, we're gonna get down to the nimeona maswali zote zimekam. Tunaenda kuzi-review. Itafika point niseme, haya leteni maswali, then back to back. But for now, let's begin the show. Davido, nipe introduction. All right, welcome to Obinna Show Live. What's up, everybody? Oga Top is in the building. It's Monday, and it's time for Obinna Show Live. If you haven't watched the previous ones, make a point of doing so. You've missed some interesting conversations, all right? But don't worry, you're right on time for the next stop that's coming right now. We have another intellectual amidst us. Then after this one, we're going to be having another interesting conversation. So stay tuned for that one as well. Automatically, we're going to inspire and motivate you, but above all, educate and entertain. This is Obinna Show Live, coming live to you from Samaki on Othea Road. This joint is amazing with seafood. However, we've introduced pizza. Yeah, for the ones, nataka tuka pizza nini, iko hapo na nyama choma, pia iko in the building, so you can pass by, have a very polite drink with your personal person over there, and then privacy is A1. We also do have ample parking space, so make a point of passing by. All right, he's not a stranger to the show. The second time we're having a conversation with him. Amekuwa hapa before, na tena amerudi round 2, so about to have a conversation on election. So, before all this happened, about last week we were having a conversation with Wakili, and he brought to my attention that election is actually 2026, not 2027, and I was like, ngoja kwanza, kuna Wakenya wengi wajui story, we have to sit down and discuss. So for the second time on OBINNA Show live, makofi tafadhali. Wakili Willis Piki Ponky. Do you prefer being called Wakili Willis or Piki Ponky?
Either can do.
For real?
I take all. I'm Wakili Willis Otieno. But the people have christened me Piki Ponky. When the people give you a name, you own it. The voice of the people is the voice of God.
Okay.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Hapa ni nyumbani. Last time ulikuja tulikuwa na employees watatu.
Watatu tu. Leo nimepata studio chungu mzima.
Watu wamejaa.
Watu wamejaa. Inakaa kama rally.
By the last time tulikuwa tumeshikiliwa tu na Mungu.
Congratulations. Ni God man.
Ni God man.
Umeifanya.
Thank you. Thank you. We are getting there. You're among the first people to actually believe in me, because when I invited you, I never thought you'd come the first time. So I looked for you. I was like, atakuja kweli. And then you said, I'll come. And then you came and you kept time. I was like,
Yeah, it was good. And you only 3 people. You only have 3. Today we are over 50 here. And it seems the numbers are still growing.
Tuna grow,
This is good stuff.
This is good. Asante sana.
And this to me, it's even a message to our young people. When you have a dream and a belief in what you want to do, just apply yourself to it. Look, in less than 2 years, I'm so proud to come back and find an amazing studio and amazing team that is now doing great stuff for the people of Kenya.
Asante. Tumegrow.
Ni
God, man.
Ni God.
Asante for coming that time and also coming again. Last time, I'd invited a couple of people. Wengine walikuwa naringa, including Sonko. Nikiwa huko, alikatanga watu wenye tulikuja hapa alikam. Mpaka tukampigianga simu akasema, "Hiyo show Obinna bado kidogo nini?" But later when it got to a certain level, but when it was there, you believed in it and came amongst other guests.
I always believe in talent. When I see it and you had it, and I've seen many young people. Sometimes I'm invited even to a show that there are only 3 people. And I go and I'll talk. And I draw this inspiration from
Simi anakupeleka wapi huko?
Nimeenda show ya watu watatu.
Aye.
Even a live show, 3 people, and you just participate. Why? Because to that person, he has a belief that someday my 3 people show will grow into something great. There's a time JF Kennedy went to talk to factory workers, and he was expecting to address 5,000 factory workers. When he walked into the hall, they had booked a hall, big hall. He only found 4 people. He was expecting 5,000. There were only 4 people sitting. And JF gave a speech of his lifetime to the 4 people. Because he said, at least I was coming to talk to everybody individually, not to a crowd. So the 4 who've turned up to listen to me, they must receive the speech just as if there were 5,000 people. So even for myself, that's what I believe. When somebody is convinced that they are doing something to add value, my life journey is to help them actualize themselves. And every day, if I talk even to one person, as a civic educator, as a politician, as a lawyer, that is one person more than what I had yesterday. True. So we continue.
Tusonge nayo.
Atunge kuja the other side. I will not be here today. If all of us who appeared in Miale didn't believe in you, there will be no Obinna live show today.
True.
But even your listeners, the ones who are following you from those days, I'm sure the numbers were few. They're the ones who've given you the platform today.
For real. We started off not in that. You can't start from the top.
No. You have to
if you start from the top, there's only one way to go.
No, you go down.
Start as you build.
Exactly.
Yes. But Asante.
Asante.
We like having you around because when you have you around, we will not be sued.
No. All your legal issues, you know that one.
Because utakuwa unaongea from a factual point. Kuna watu wanasemanga vitu hapa tunaambia the video cheza na disclaimer. So, last week, about a month ago, has it been a month already, we went to Amunyoro.
Yes.
And a lot of things were said. But in the interview, tulikuwa nacheza na disclaimer. And amongst the things that were said, I just want to pick your brain on this one so we can now come back to this. Rigji said a statement about the Christmas and everything. You heard the story?
Yes.
And a lot of people are saying he needs to be arrested for that. It is treasonous, it is whatever, it's insightful and everything. From a legal point of view, do you think whatever Rigji said in that context of what he was talking about warrants a legal whatever?
I don't think it warrants a legal intervention. It warrants a moral condemnation, not a legal. Because in his statement, what he was saying, he was warning. If you, then this.
Okay.
He didn't say we are going
We are
to.
going to, yeah.
He said if you.
Okay.
The presumption of the law is that the law will be followed. There will be no rigging of elections.
Okay.
They said if you. But morally, you can call him to order to say we should not be having alarm bells or dog whistles, so to speak.
Okay.
That maybe it's a dog whistle to certain groups to plan for war.
Okay.
So it's a moral condemnation, not a legal condemnation. It was not appropriate, especially coming from somebody of his stature, to speak like that, in my view.
Okay.
But he's entitled to his rights and freedoms of expression.
Okay.
And morality cannot be enforced by the law. Morality is enforced by the society. Yes.
If you come to it representing, will you?
If he was charged with that,
Yeah.
the cab rank rule applies to lawyers. A lawyer is supposed to represent anybody with a legal case who appears before him. And if you are the one next in line, nayo. But there are also rules that may stop you from representing.
Okay.
In particular, we are in political competition. Will he be confident to give me his secrets? Because he must tell your lawyer everything. Yeah.
Udanganyi lawyer?
Ukidanganya lawyer utafungwa.
Unafungwa na nani?
Utafungwa because your lawyer will say lies to court and you'll be exposed. You know, sometimes people say lawyers are liars. We are not liars. we are just but speakers.
You are lying.
We are just amplifying
with evidence.
What our clients have said. We are not liars. What's the work of a lawyer? It's just to represent the client's case. He has no stake in the case. So if Rigiji can't tell me everything, how do I represent him? Atafungwa.
Okay. So hizo manini zote zilikuwa zinakuja huko, hizo masubaru, whatever he was saying, anatafutwa, all of that is not like legal.
No. You know what is happening in our state today? The criminal justice system is being politicized. And some of those harassments, you see Rigiji and some of his people, you've seen it with Wanjigi, being subjected to, even now with Rose Njeri. This is purely harassment.
Okay.
And when things go wrong, the police start saying, we are not even aware of those who arrested, those who abducted. It was not our operation. But they've created an atmosphere where now police are dropping their uniforms, they are moving in balaclavas, in civilian, and marked motor vehicles.
Yeah.
The other day I was witnessing what happened in, unfortunate thing that happened in Trans-Nzoia. When I did a search of those motor vehicles, the shock on me. Those are fake number plates. Yeah, the ones that were allegedly vandalized in Trans-Nzoia, Kitale, at Natembea's place. Go and do a search of all those motor vehicles. Fake number plates, they are not registered. But our law enforcement agencies have adopted a practice where they are operating outside the law. They're now criminals. If you are really doing police duty, what stops you from coming and saying, I'm a police officer, I'm number this, police officer from this police station? You can introduce yourself, you can see your identifying badge, arrest. Take to a police station, book. If the person qualifies for bail, give cash bail or issue summons.
Yeah.
But politically, they want to send fear. All of these things you see, it's not even targeting at the person who is being tormented. It is targeting those who are still at home. You see how we deal with people who... Jaribu one. That is the message.
Oh, wow.
That is what they're trying to... Even during Mandamano.
Yeah.
You did notice that the first thing the police will do in the morning is they throw a lot of tear gas. Then there is media showing information of tear gas everywhere. They are addressing people at home.
Usitoke huko. Tuko kwa ground.
They are selling you fear.
Okay.
To undermine the constitution. Yeah.
So as it is, our constitution kidogo nika tumeweka standby.
Our constitution hatujaweka standby. The legacy politicians are trying to undermine our constitution. But the Kenyan people have owned their constitution. Wameishikilia.
Okay.
Ingekuwa tu wa Kenya wame give up, they will be having a field day. Yeah. But the resistance tells you that the Kenyan people are still fighting.
Yeah.
They are defending their constitution.
Okay. So pole tu. We'll get round to it. You have been our Kili for how many years now?
I'm now a Kili for 17 years.
17 years. What's the difference between a lawyer and an advocate?
When you finish law school, you get a degree in law.
So you're a lawyer.
You become a lawyer. For you to become an advocate, unaenda Kenya School of Law. You study for 1 year at Kenya School of Law. With your degree, you study for 1 year. Then you do pupillage, apprenticeship, for 6 months under another advocate.
So ni kama
Once you pass all
attachment.
of attachment, 6 months.
Okay.
Once you pass all of that, you get a postgraduate diploma in law. Then you are admitted to the bar. See you come here. That's a different bar.
This is how we admit ourselves.
This is you admit yourselves. The other one you're admitted.
Yeah.
Unavaa your official gown.
Okay.
You take an oath. And the oath you take is to protect and to defend the Constitution and the law. And to serve everybody without fear or favor.
Okay.
Then now you are admitted to the bar. You are released to the people.
Okay.
And you're supposed to serve in strict fidelity to the law.
Okay.
Not your own views.
Hey. Haya. Nimejua penye nakupeleka na hii story. Sasa, an advocate, for example, now has gone, then now umepita, you've been admitted to the bar, all of this study. Then you sit down with a criminal. This guy is a thug. Ameiba. Then akuja kwambia wakili, protect me. Enyewe nimeiba, lakini sitaki kufungwa. Sasa wewe ukienda pale kwa koti, your honor, nini. Hiyo si kudanganya. Na umejua vizuri huyu client wako ni mwizi na akona hii pesa kwa nyumba.
You know, what the law says, there's presumption of innocence. Kila mtu, hata akishtakiwa, is presumed to be innocent.
Okay.
Okay? Then wakati the state charges you, you are arraigned in court to be charged. Then the people who have taken you to court, the state, have a responsibility to prove your guilt. Okay. It is not your duty as the accused to prove your innocence. It is the state to prove that you are guilty. And the proof is beyond any reasonable doubt.
Okay.
Somebody can come to you as the example you've given me, and they say, Mimi ni meiba. But I'm not admitting it in court. I've just told you as my lawyer. He can as well go to court and keep quiet and not say anything. The court, the law, not even the court, the law may still find him innocent. Why? If the prosecution don't bring evidence to prove, number one, there was an act of theft, the person who they have brought to court was responsible for it.
The same person.
Yes. If they don't bring the evidence, the person can keep quiet. Then at the end of it all, you're found not guilty. Why? What we do in court is to legally, I told you about morality and the law.
Yeah.
We are taking you through a legal process to prove your legal guilt, not your moral.
Okay.
Morally, everybody in the society may know you're a thief. But legally, are we able to prove you're a thief? Okay. There's a time I went to visit my uncles, and one of them asked me a very interesting question. Luckily, you're a lawyer. Here in this village, there are some people who, when they look at you, you get stomach aches. You can even die. They kill you by the eye. Why is it that this law that you practice, we all know in the village that the person who killed so-and-so is X? Why is X not being arrested? I told him, unfortunately, in court, we deal with legal proof, not moral.
Yeah.
So you as a community, since you know how to identify and to know who has committed an offense, akitumia macho yake, punish him using your moral standards. But for legal purposes, how will you prove that somebody looked at another with bad eyes and they died? How? If you took them to court, wataachiliwa. Yeah.
Okay.
But the society, everybody knows, huyu alimwangalia na macho mbaya.
Yeah.
Alimtupia kitu akakufa. But how do you prove?
After lawyers do this thing, hamukwangi na guilt, auendangi nyumbani unasema enyewe, hata kama niko tafuta pesa, huyu nimeprotect ni mkora. Ukangi timu
let me tell you, Obinna.
Hata upigie hiyo side nyingine waambie niaje, wacha niwape evidence enyewe huyu ni mwizi.
One thing about a lawyer, whatever your client tells you is privileged. It is confidential.
But
you cannot share it. No. That is what gives people the confidence to come to lawyers.
No, I can't share, but I know you're a bad person.
You cannot share. That is the oath you took.
But I know you're a bad person.
But you took an oath.
The oath does not change the fact that you're a bad person.
Having taken the oath, you cannot share the information the client gives you, number one. Number two, you know, lawyers don't do these things for money. When you see the lawyer's gown, that gown that we wear, the history of the gown, the long one.
You're black.
You're black. Nyuma yake at the back, there's a looping pocket. Lawyers, historically, were meant to go and serve, help the law, and not be paid. Then as you are walking out of the courtroom after you finish your work, it is the community members, if they feel like, they will drop coins in that pocket. They drop for you coins, alms. Okay? That is what law was about. That is why even today, the law regulates how much a lawyer can be paid. Minimum. A minimum. We have a remuneration order.
Oh, minimum.
Minimum.
Maximum now ni venye una nini.
Minimum. We have and you follow the law to pay your lawyer.
Ha! I know some lawyers. Wacha nisiwa mention juu sasa wanakuanga kwa news. Mambo ikichemuka hivyo, no, our client wako nayo milimani.
But they are offering pro bono services. Some of them are offering pro bono.
Wale wanalipwa mamilioni tumejua. We can't even afford them.
No. Many lawyers by the you see out here, especially in these public cases. These ones are in the media. Many lawyers that I know of are doing it for free. Many of them.
Wacha nikupigie for free.
Mtu ameshikwa. Who plans to be arrested? No, let me ask you. When you are even doing your show here, you don't have a contingency amount you've set aside for legal?
No.
That you'll be arrested? So I'm assuming, God forbid, you get into a problem with the law. You didn't have money set aside for lawyers? We can come and help you. Pro bono. Many.
mpaka mtu chake kingie motoni.
Many lawyers.
First of all, kuna ile consultation, ile ukienda kuona lawyer kwanza unawekelea kwanza kubook your meeting.
No, but if you have a commercial dispute, that now you pay your lawyer.
Or commercial dispute?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you are making money out of it.
Lakini wakili kuna history bado umeepa hapa. Umejua huyu ni gaidi. Na ukamrepresent.
Morally.
Hauna ka guilt kana kusumbua uko zile nyewe huyu ni gaidi.
We don't take the cases we do to heart. We use our head. We don't use the heart. Yeah. But
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, we don't take them to heart. But there are some cases that can really get to you.
Yeah.
But it is your duty as a lawyer to make sure that you protect yourselves against emotionally getting involved with your client's cases. The case belongs to the client, not to the lawyer.
You.
So usianze kusema uoshe in
tiwoye mimi kesi kidogo. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the biggest misconception about Kenyan lawyers?
That they're greedy and money hungry. Some people call us reptiles.
Reptiles?
That lawyers are reptiles. We don't lose, they are paid. That's a misconception.
Oh, that's a misconception?
It's a misconception. I'm telling you, many lawyers take up public interest cases for free.
Okay.
And when you go to heaven, it is where lawyers will be angels. We are serving the Lord. Heaven is where Germans are engineers, the French are cooks, and lawyers are engineers. Or are angels, sorry.
In heaven?
In heaven, Germans are the engineers, the French are cooks, chefs, and lawyers are angels, serving the Lord.
Okay. Tumekupata. Also, I saw the story for, you remember Brian Mwendwa?
Yes.
Wala wasema ni lawyer fake, nini. Was that story true?
To the extent that he was charged in the criminal court.
Yeah.
And then to the extent that he is not in the database of advocates.
Okay.
So he was not qualified to practice law.
Okay.
You can represent yourself in court. If you have your own case, you can act in person. On your own, peke yako tu.
Okay.
But you cannot represent another person. If you want to represent another person, you must be legally qualified. Ukwe advocate.
Okay.
So Brian, or whatever his real name is,
Brian Mwendwa
is not in the list of advocates who are qualified to practice law as per the records kept by the Law Society of Kenya. But he was passing off as representing other people. But if he was his own case, you can act in person. That one you're allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, but not to act for another person.
Okay.
It is again meant to protect the public. If you're not careful, you'll be having quacks all over town.
Yeah.
Misrepresenting.
Anaku hold down. Which one is your favorite courtroom moment ever? Apart from Piki Piki Pongi. You'll end up kupiga show. And by the way, what was the sweat about? You were sweating.
The courtroom was hot.
Aye.
The ventilation in that courtroom was...
hivi mpaka nikola wakili. Na uko na kabuti si uchukue tu kabuti jua.
Hapana. You must fight and not show that you are relenting. We were fighting serious issues.
Okay.
Yeah, about the state of the nation, and what we are going through.
Yeah.
You know the most important thing that Kenyans own?
Yeah.
The most important thing that Kenyans own as a collective is their sovereignty.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. Higher than even life. Our sovereignty as a people.
Okay.
Without that sovereignty as a people, then there is no Kenya. That is what was in dispute. The exercise of the sovereign right of the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
It's a matter of life and death, my friend.
Okay.
Yes. So you must bring out, and even if the room is hot,
yeah, nayo,
you don't stop.
Kuna mgeto anauliza sovereignty ni nini?
Sovereignty, no, kwa
How
Kiswahili.
do we make it down? Hata English, in a softer English term. Is it our power? Is it our strength?
Sovereignty is your being. What constitutes you? What makes you you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the simplest way to explain it.
Okay.
Sovereignty is what you say, what taken into totality is what makes you a person or makes you a country.
Okay.
When we come together to create what is called Kenya.
Okay.
That is what we call our sovereignty.
All right.
Without it, there is no Kenya. There is no state, there is no nation that you can refer to.
Okay.
The most important thing, our sovereignty.
Okay. If you weren't a lawyer, what would you be doing? By that hiyo nini ya courtroom hujaniambia bado. Your favorite courtroom moment ever.
My most favorite courtroom moment was there's a time I represented someone who had been in custody for 3 years.
Okay.
Custody for 3 years, wrongfully accused.
Amekuwa ndani.
Amewekwa ndani 3 years. Yeah, aliambiwa if you go to court, just say I'm sorry. He was not even asking questions. The man was staring to conviction. He had been put on his defense. Then his relatives reached out to me. I went to take instructions. We went to court, asked for the case to be reopened. He told me, he was told that you cannot continue, usilete kiburi, sema tu pole. And he kept saying pole, ask any question, no question. Niko mimi ni sawa tu pole. The man was put on his defense.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, he was staring at life imprisonment. The day when we managed to conclude that case, and he was found with no case to answer and set free. That man told me, Willis, so you just give me 800 bob, I go to my village tonight. I'm never staying in this Nairobi even one single night. That man is now in the village. That was almost 15 years ago. It was my first case to do.
Yeah.
That man has never stepped in Nairobi to date. He's told me he'll never come back to Nairobi.
Kesi ilikuwa ya Nairobi.
Alishikwa Nairobi.
That amedu?
It was a sexual offense case. And he had not done anything. He was completely innocent. But somebody told him in the station, ukienda huko usilete kiburi, unasema pole. Utasamehewa. He was staring at life imprisonment. He has never come back to Nairobi. And he told me he'll never stay in this city again, step in this city again. The reality of law and human experiences with the law.
And you have a lot of people who are going through similar situations.
Very many.
You don't have good representation or good advice. Unajipatanga umeingia huko ndani na hiyo story umesahau.
Many. In fact, the bulk of our prisons, I'm sorry to say this, our prisons are full of innocent, poor people.
That's so true.
And illiterate people who don't get representation. They are the majority of the people in prison. And lawyers were trying to do pro bono to get them out.
We?
Yeah.
There's a show I'm doing for innocent people. It's just like OBINNA Show live, but now we'll just be seated down with most prisoners. They just put their story. The reason is this: when you put your story out, there's a wakili who will see and say, "I want to represent this person. I want to represent this person," like that. So we try and see how we can decongest. I've known of a couple of people unajuanga tu msi ako innocent. The other time I hosted some guys here, they're known as them Zizas. I don't know if you know them. So it was a couple. I met them on TikTok, interviewed them. They became this big brand. So when you're talking, we realize the lady, the father, has been wrongly convicted. Ati sijui kuna mtu sijui alitoa pesa kwa M-Pesa sijui Kitale. So the guy was arrested in Nairobi. He does not know anything. Na akachukuliwa na akapelekwa Kitale. Na wakaeka kesi yake. Anaenda anakuwa mention anarudishwa. Na mention anarudishwa. So the Saturday we spoke about it. And I was like, okay, we'll see what we can do. Wakasikia. So when they went there wakaitwa na magistrate wakasomewa. Oh, tumeona ameenda kufanya nini, msijaribu kuongea story hii nini tena. Tukarudi round 2.
Kafanya.
Nikasema sasa wacha sana tupige sasa the government for Kitale. So nikapigia Natembea the PA. Kwambia kuna huyu hivi, go find out where the case is. Akaenda huko, the guy was released within a month.
Yeah. That's the experience of many Kenyans.
In fact,
remand is worse.
By the kuna watu wako tu kwa remand.
Remand.
And I mentioned Rudy.
Somebody is accused even of theft of even 10,000 shillings.
Na ako tu ndani.
Ako ndani. We are feeding them as a people. 2 years, 3 years, the case is not moving. It's dragging in court.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, you'll find they're innocent. Many. Our justice system is hostile. It is brutal to poor, illiterate young people.
It's terrible. Anywho, welcome back to OBINNA Show Live.
Thank you very much.
I invited you specifically tuongee mambo ya election.
Yes.
Mambo ya 2027.
2026.
2027.
2026.
Pamela, saidia wakili na kinywaji. Alafu sasa tufungue kwa nimeona umetembea na constitution.
Nimekuja nayo katiba.
We? Si hata katiba ilikuwa kitabu kanini hivi?
We made it simplified versions.
Oh, this is simplified version.
No, I mean pocket size.
Oh,
pocket
but ni ile katiba tu.
Ni ile katiba. Kila kitu ni sawa.
Si hata imetoa words zingine huku?
Hapana.
Pamela, umeguza constitution? Guza constitution. Haya ni sawa, maliza basi na nini.
Inafaa every Kenyan should have a copy.
It's for lawyers.
For Kenyans. The constitution is a document of Kenyans, not lawyers.
No, before Nikae, there is this song I want to sing.
Okay.
If I point you, you will sing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Picky, picky, ponky. Paka mielo disco. Please.
Picky, picky, ponky. Paka mielo disco.
Thank you. Yeah.
What was that?
She wanted to sing.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about?
I know the song.
Okay, do you know he's the releaser?
Yeah, he's the performing artist.
Yeah.
Aenda register priest. Akamba patiwe na MCSK patiwe royalties zake.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm Pamela.
Yes.
I'm the hostess here.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Yeah, it's not a hospital, please.
Hospitality, Pamela.
It's a show.
It's a show. Okay.
Yeah, please tell him this is not a hospital.
Yeah, it's not a hospital. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so hospitality is not here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
asante
hospitality
sana.
ni ile ingine.
Yeah.
Asante kwa kunikaribisha na
okay.
ukarimu.
I think I'm happy to receive you.
Thank you.
Can you help me to lawyer someone? Like, I'm having a case.
Yes.
It's for long time ago. Can you do that?
Yes, I can assist
3
you.
years past.
Yes. As long as you have a course of action.
But it's not, the person is not around now. It's far.
Where is the person?
It's far away.
Is the person alive?
Yes, I don't know, maybe. Both coma. In a coma.
In a coma.
Yeah.
Now you want to sue somebody who is in a coma.
Yeah.
What happened?
Boss, relax.
Yes, you can come to my office for instructions.
Okay.
You know you can't give me instructions in
Yeah,
public.
they will.
Because
they
it's
will,
confidential.
Yeah, especially. Oh my
Especially
God.
he'll be more interested.
No, what
Yes.
happened?
Okay, sorry.
Maybe he can go and.
But I
save
can
the
also be your
person.
lawyer.
He's not qualified to practice law.
Yes.
He will be called a quack.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
So-
a journalist.
Okay.
So, what can I offer you?
Do you have cold water?
Okay.
I love cool water. Sparkling if you have. Or
Okay.
If you don't have, just still. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Thank
now
you
that
very
you
much,
know
ma'am.
sparkling water,
Yeah. What about you?
I'm okay. There's a day Pamela came, he was told they want sparkling water. Karibu a date. All right. So with me over here, I have the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Okay. So after 2010, there is no other constitution.
There is no other. No amendment, not even a comma, not a dot, not a T that is not crossed. That is the constitution.
Ukiongeza koma inabadilika.
Inaweza badilika.
Okay.
Yes.
Hata because meaning pia ina change.
Exactly.
So 2010 ndio tulikuwa na nini yetu ya mwisho.
Yes.
So there was something called BBI.
Yes.
What was that?
BBI was a Building Bridges initiative
Okay.
proposed by Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga as the drivers of it, that was aiming to amend this constitution.
They want to change things
They wanted
inside
to
here.
change things in the constitution.
Specifically,
Some of the issues was they wanted to change the boundaries, number of constituencies, delimitation. They wanted to introduce the position of prime minister, leader of official opposition, deputy prime ministers. They wanted to bring a judiciary ombudsperson. There were many things they were doing to reorganize our government.
in their
And
favor.
In their favor, of course. In legacy politicians, typical of them. They are legacy politicians, these ones that you see in office.
Ngoja, what is legacy politician?
They thrive on politics, not on service. The people you see in office in Kenya are called legacy politicians.
All of them?
All of them. They're legacy politicians. Why are they in office?
Just when
Wakwe
you in
wakubwa.
Obamba you,
In Obamba, they become big people.
they are not there for us.
It's not about Kenyans. And that is why as Safina, we are saying, fagia wote. Let's bring
Oh, your chama is called Safina.
Safina.
Like Ark.
Ark, the Ark of Noah.
But unajua Ark watu waliingia wawili.
No,
Indeed,
wawili
not
wawili. There was
everybody
enough
got in.
space. There was enough space.
But not everybody got
No,
in.
no, no. The animals wawili wawili. Humans were more.
Well, they were just 8.
No, no. Humans were more.
Humans were 8.
But there were more than 2. That's the main thing. Yes.
Hapo
There is space.
eneo wakili. So they wanted to add things here
Yes.
to change it in their favor.
Yes.
Wakenya wakakataa.
Wakenya walikata.
Okay.
A group of Kenyans went to court, and the court shot down that attempt.
Okay.
And what the court said is that the executive, the president in that part,
Okay.
cannot seek to amend the
Initiate
constitution
it, yeah.
through a popular initiative.
Okay.
It should be a people. That clause of amending the constitution was a people's clause. Ilikuwa ya wananchi.
Okay.
It's not for wakubwa.
Okay.
It's not for legacy politicians. So legacy politicians cannot come and take over the process of amending our constitution to suit them.
Okay.
It was struck out.
Okay.
Yes.
So nothing ilichangiwa.
Nothing ilichangiwa.
Okay. Sasa mtu akitaka kuchange kitu hapa. What's the process?
There are two main processes.
Okay.
There's what we call the parliamentary initiative
Okay.
and the popular initiative, the people's initiative. And parliamentary, you propose a bill in parliament,
Okay.
and then parliament will look at it. If they get 2/3 majority of members of parliament and the Senate, it will pass.
Okay.
Then we have popular initiative. Any Kenyan who wants to amend anything in the constitution, you collect 1 million signatures. You prepare a draft amendment bill, collect signatures of people supporting it, take to IBC, it is taken to county assemblies, National Assembly, Senate. Then it goes to a referendum, kura ya maoni. And there are also certain things in the constitution which you cannot amend without going to a referendum. One of them being if you want to amend the Bill of Rights, the right to demonstrate, our political rights, you must go to a referendum.
Okay.
If you want to change the structure of government, the roles of parliament, you want to change the devolved units, you must go to the people in a referendum.
Okay.
You cannot do it in parliament.
Okay.
Yes.
Aya. There you have it. Mambo ni mingi. 1 million signatures. Physical ama online too?
Physical.
So you walk around to 1 million people.
Yes, get 1 million people, they write their names, ID number, voters center, where they're registered as voters, signature,
Or there must be people who can vote.
the registered voters.
Nimekupata.
Yes.
Which one is your favorite chapter or clause in here?
My favorite chapter of the Constitution is the Bill of Rights. That's chapter 4.
Okay.
Because chapter 4 is what gives every Kenyan their individual rights, and those rights are rights as against the state. The state is very bad in enforcing human rights. In fact, they are the number one abusers of human rights.
Okay.
The constitution now reminds you that no,
Usijaribiwe.
usijaribu kuangamiza wananchi wako.
Okay.
So chapter 4 is my favorite chapter of the constitution.
Okay. Haya. So nataka tuanze kuchambua pole pole.
Yes.
When we were speaking with you last week, you brought to my attention that elections are supposed to be held on 2026.
Yes.
We all know it's 2027. Korir, 2027? Kevo, 2027. Pato, 2027. Davido, 2027. Ones, 2027. Mluo, 2027. Oh, uliona video yake. Michelle, 2027. Dapaman, Munez, 2027. Jerry, Jackie. So all of us, okay, majority of us,
Yes.
we knew 2027 must say, tunafagia wote. 2027 watu wanaenda home. Kumbe si 2027?
See 2027. Let me ask you.
Yes.
And it's good everybody here ask this question.
Yes.
Where do you get the authority to say 2027? We are a country of the rule of law.
Okay.
And everything must be founded on the law.
Okay.
So look at your constitution. Don't listen to what legacy politicians sell to you on the public platform. The first slide they've given you is that I'm elected into office for 5 years. Show me in your constitution where the president, the member of parliament, the governor, the senator is elected to serve for 5 years. Where? It doesn't exist.
They are not elected to serve for 5 years.
They are not elected to serve for 5 years. Previously, in our old constitution, understand this.
Okay.
Section 9 of the old constitution was very clear. The president shall be elected to serve for a period of 5 years. Specifically included in the old constitution.
Okay.
When Kenyans came up with this 2010 constitution, they removed that section 9. And they said the term of office of a president, Article 142. The term of office shall run from the date he is sworn in to the date when the person next elected president under Article 136 2A is sworn in. There is no 5 years. So everybody must remove the 5-year thing. But legacy politicians every day, they stand up. Mimi nilichaguliwa miaka 5. I'm elected for 5 years. Where?
Ngoja napata hiyo wapi hapa?
Article 142.
Wajeni kucheka na pia nyinyi hamjui iko wapi. Okay. So,
Just read it.
no, sijaipata bado.
Nikusaidie.
So niende tu hivi venye imeandikwa namba hapa 59 nini?
Hiyo one.
83. Tufundishe
So if you want to read the constitution, the numbers on the side are called articles. So like now the one that I want you to read is this one. (142). Look at the marginal notes.
Hizi manamba ziko hapa.
Yes.
Sasa nimepata. So
Look at the marginal note says the top at the top, sub-article, sub-heading.
Unanipoteza.
Okay, the marginal note.
So sasa hivi nimeandika kwa bold.
In bold, yes.
Bold.
Yes.
142.
Yes.
Term of office of president.
Yes.
Number 1.
Yes.
Naisema hivyo.
Same article, sub-article 1, article 142, sub-article 1. Okay. But just say 1.
Article 142, no saizi learned friends.
Learned friend.
So guys, I'm reading from the Constitution of Kenya, Constitution of 2010.
Yes.
That's correct?
Yes.
Article 142, sub-article 1. The president shall hold office for a term beginning on the date on which the president was sworn in.
Yes.
And ending when the person next elected president, in accordance with Article 136, sub-article 2A, is sworn in.
Does it say anywhere there 5 years?
No.
Okay, so go to 136, 2A.
136, 2A. This, so the title is Election of the President. 2A says, on the same day as a general...
Read the top part before you read that.
An election of the president shall be held.
Yes.
on the same day as a general election of members of parliament, being the second Tuesday in August in every 5th year.
Being the second Tuesday of August in every 5th year. A plain reading of that alone, forget even about being a lawyer.
Okay.
The first thing it tells you that the elections is conducted in
the 5th
the
year.
5th year. Not after. Not every 5 years.
Okay.
It is done in the 5th
In
year.
the 5th year.
And
Where?
your duty now becomes to find out the 5th year.
Yeah.
Then once you find the 5th year, inside it, look for the second Tuesday
In August.
in August.
Mambo ni live.
Look, so you are told in the 5th year, look from the date of the last general elections, 9th of August, 2022. The Constitution in Article 259, 5C, tells you how to calculate years.
259.
259. No, this other side.
This other side.
259, 5C.
Mambo imechemuka. Haya. Sema, oh, as we are now bringing it from the Constitution. Haya, 257, 258, 259, 5C.
Yes. In calculating years.
In calculating time between two events for any purpose under this Constitution, if the time is expressed, that is 5C nasema. As years, the period of time ends at the beginning of the date of the relevant year that corresponds to the date. Okay, menipoteza kidogo.
Just to take it.
As years, the period of time ends at the beginning of the date of the relevant year that corresponds to the date on which the period began.
So the election was the 9th of August, 2022. Calculate the first year. It ends...
9th, 10th, so say another
not
10.
not 10th, no. It ends at the beginning of the corresponding date. So it ends on the 8th of August, 2022. So you count 9th of August, 22, sorry, to 8th of August, 2023. That is 1 year. So that when we are starting 9th of August, 23, we have now moved to the next year. So year 1 is 9th of August, 22, ends on 8th of August, 23. That's year 1.
Okay.
Year 2 is 9th of August, 23 to 8th of August, 24. Year 3 is 9th of August, 24 to 8th of August, 25. Year 4 is 9th of August, 25 to 8th of August, 26. Then the most important is year 5, running from 9th of August, 2026, ending on the 8th of August, 2027. Write that one down. Year 5 runs from 9th of August, 2026, and it ends on the 8th of August, 2027. You are told in Article 136, 2A, to find the second Tuesday in August inside the 5th year and conduct your elections. Can only be in 2026. If it had said after 5 years, we will have done it in 2027. If it had said every 5 years, it will have been in 2027. But it said inside the 5th year, 9th of August 26 to 8th of August 27. Find the second Tuesday in August.
Does the president know mempangia hivi? Yo, so basically elections ni 2026.
2026. But legacy politicians have been lying to Kenyans. And our people are suffering for lack of knowledge.
So si tulikuwa nangoja kufanya election 2027 August.
I can ask any Kenyan to show me any part of the constitution that leads us to an election in 2027, and I'll put $1 million on the table to a charity of your choice.
Chorus you 1 million. Oh wow. Now if you calculate it like that, actually it is 2026 August. Wow. Okay, shafika.
So it's here.
It's here.
Are we a country of the rule of law or not?
Are you sure it's going to happen like that?
The question should be, are we going to apply our constitution or are we going to allow legacy politicians to continue manipulating us that they are elected for 5 years? Kumi bila break. From where do you get your 5-year term? We are a 4-year term. You're not a 5-year term. We are a 4-year term. The only person who was given a 5-year term was the MCA, who has been told, in fact, we don't have to serve for 5 years. We will hold your elections on inside the 5th year. Inside, not after the 5 years.
I think inafaa tuanze kutembea constitution. Polisi akuja, hey, goja, article 2. Oh, wow. So, these legacy politicians, they know this.
They know.
So, sisi wanatu ufala yetu.
Ufala yenu. You know, in my mother tongue, they say, foolish people are the feeds for the clever.
Hebu sema nayo mother tongue.
Eh?
Jomofuo.
Jomofuo chim jomariek.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the legacy politicians know this, but the masses are not informed. So they take advantage.
5 years. Unajua 5 years bwana ni 2027.
Yes. Ask yourself, in Uhuru's term, when he was elected as president in 2013, the elections took place on the 4th of March, 2013. He was sworn in on the 9th of April, 2013. Let's do the count. 4th of March, 2013 are the elections date. 2013. The start. Let's count 5 years. 4th of March, 2013 to 3rd of March, 2014. That is year 1. Correct? Year 2, 4th of March, 2014 to 3rd of March, 2015. Correct? Year 3, 4th of March, 2015 to 3rd of March, 2016. Year 4, 4th of March, 2016 to 3rd of March, 2017. Then year 5 was running from the 4th of March, 2017, ending on the 3rd of March, 2018. When did we do our elections? We looked for the second Tuesday in August, inside that 5th year, between 4th of March, 2017 to 3rd of March, 2018. The second Tuesday in August fell on the 9th of August, 2017. Uhuru served for 4 years and 5 months as president.
And you believe Ruto is also going to serve for 4 years?
No. Why are legacy politicians pushing us 2027? They want to give him extra terms. They want to earn themselves extra terms. Stealing your sovereignty. Remember what I told you? The one thing that I hold dear in our constitution is sovereignty. You asked me that question.
Yeah.
If somebody steals your sovereignty, then he can take anything.
Okay. Tumekupata.
Anything is fair play if they can steal your sovereignty. Legacy politicians have stolen our sovereignty over and over again.
Na wanapita
And they
tunayo.
take advantage of the ignorance of our people.
Yeah.
Nothing stops them from complying with the constitution fully. They can still offer themselves for elections next year. Let the people decide.
So wameanza campaign saizi hawajachelewa ni
They know. They
wamejipanga.
know. So if you don't do elections next year, they've just earned an extra 1 year. Theft. You ask me what lawyers do. Stealing your sovereignty. You can't even
Wako na
defend
head
it.
start.
Yeah.
Okay. You've had the stories that there are people who are suggesting of term limits
Yes.
being moved to 10.
Yes.
Umesikia hizo story?
Yes.
Is it a possibility?
It is mission impossible.
We can't have a president for 10 years?
The constitution of Kenya is very clear. If you want to amend the term of office of a president, you must take it to the people of Kenya in a referendum.
Okay.
Kura ya maoni. And the mood of Kenyans right now here, they are very impatient with the legacy politicians.
Yeah.
Unless Kenyans, in their wisdom, in numbers decide that we want to extend or to add additional terms to a president, you cannot do it in parliament. It must go to a referendum. It will not pass.
So you haiwezi. You ukiangalia venye wa Kenya wako
haiwezi.
Tricky.
Haiwezi. If BBI alone could not pass even through the courts, you expect this one can pass the people. And in Safina we always say the most important court is the court, the people's court. Not even the High Court. It's bigger, it's higher than the High Court and the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Take it to the people. People will reject it. Plain and simple.
Okay. Haya. There's also been stories. One term and tano tena. A couple of Kenyans believe, including yourself,
yes,
that Ruto is only going to have a one term.
Yes.
And other Kenyans are like, we are yet to see a one-term president because the minute someone gets in there, it's a little bit tricky. President Ruto took the presidency when he was from without. The system, the money, the resources were all against him.
Yes.
But he won. Now, 2026, now he is the system. He has the money, he has the power and everything. Do you really believe he's gonna be defeated and just go like, guys, umenishinda sasa ni sawa?
Obinna, let me tell you, my greatest contribution to humanity, what I've learned and practiced the most is elections. Yeah, that is what I've learned and practiced the most, elections. I can tell you an election from very far, how it goes.
So you may study.
That is all I've studied. If you study my life path, I'm always somewhere in elections.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one thing. The most important thing in an election is not the system. It is the people. Yeah. Even any regime that wants to rig an election, the first currency they must have are the people. The numbers may be like this, tight race, but you need the people. Then rigging is just a top-up. But you can't have numbers at 200,000 voters and you want to rig to 8 million. From where? That system that William Ruto may have, if you wanted to rig, for example, is manned by who? Not AI. It's manned by humans, people. Those people live in the same community as us. So systems don't rig elections. It's people who rig elections. And you need people to make it believable, to make it work. Take William Ruto's last elections, assuming we are doing tribal numbers, around 54% of his voters came from Mount Kenya region.
54%
of his voters.
Mount Kenya kwingi hivyo?
No, that is of William Ruto's voters. I'm talking of his voters. He's 7.1 million votes. Around 54% of that came from the Mountain Kenya region.
Okay.
They have left. That was almost 4.5 million votes. They have left him. If you're using tribal arithmetics, they have left him.
Okay.
You are sending him to go and find a replacement. Which other part of the country has that kind of numbers to replace the one that have left him? It doesn't exist. For him to provide a challenge to replace those votes, he must get the rest of the country, all of it, behind him. Yeah. Without the rest of the country behind him, and he has lost his main anchor, it's a done deal. No system can rig those numbers. So it's done. In fact, Kenyans should stop wasting a lot of time discussing William Ruto's second term. People should be discussing what next. Yeah, he's going. Going is going, and that's accepted across the country.
Ruto is not winning again.
He cannot win. It will take, not even a miracle.
Katrina, nisaidie na nyingine. Give me a fresh one. I'm writing too many notes here, please. It's about to get hot. We're about to do now arithmetic. Sasa tunge calculation. So you believe and you know.
He cannot win unless he gets back the votes that he had in 2022.
Murima.
He must get that mountain and other parts of the country. If Murima has left him, which other part of the country is he going to convince to join him?
Haya. Kuna hesabu ulinipigianga kitambo, nataka tuipige tena.
Yes.
So let's say someone wants to run for president.
Yes.
Haya, to calculate. Where do you get which votes where?
Let me do the lay of the land. This is the landscape.
Okay.
35% of registered voters are Gema.
35% Gema.
Yes.
Ini Murima.
Murima.
13%
of registered voters
13%
are Luo.
Luos.
12.8% of registered voters are Luya.
Luya.
11.7% of registered voters are Kalenjin.
Kale. Wakala 11.
11.7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kamba, 11.2% of registered voters are Kamba.
11.2 Kamba.
That is...
Sasa, uko fiti? What happened to Munez? If there was someone who's gonna kill me, I'm dead. You're surprised inafaa Munez akuwa naziona zote. Wow, alafu amevaa yellow, and we're just talking about Kambas, like right on cue. Say Kambas 11.2% and she walks right in. Looking like a banana. So, 35% Gema, 13.5 Luos.
No, 13.
13 Luos. 12.8 Luyas. 11.7 Kales.
Yes.
11.2 Kamba.
Yes. That is 83%. That is the big five.
83%.
83. Big five. For those who analyze using tribal arithmetics, not Safina. Safina has your ideology, economy, but we are...
Tutakuja kwa hiyo. Sasa tuko hapa kwa nini?
Then for the others, the highest in the others is Kisii.
Okay.
The others constitute 17%, but the largest registered block in that group is Kisii.
Kisii.
Followed by Mijikenda.
Okay.
After Mijikenda,
Mijikenda pia wapo?
Yes, after Mijikenda is Somali.
Ah.
After Somali is Masai. Then Turukana. Then others.
Turukana, okay. Okay. So all of this makes 17%.
17%.
That is remaining.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to run a tribal campaign, those are your numbers. So tell me, even assuming William Ruto was to get 11%, 100% of Kalenjin votes, which he will not get. Where's the path to power? Where's the path to power?
Nifungue calculator. Haya. Sawa. So presidency 2026. So Ruto shows up 11.2.
Assuming he gets all of them, 11.7. Assuming he gets all of it, which is impossible.
Okay, tuweke hata 10 bas. Kama atapata wote. Tuseme mpata 10%.
10%, yes.
Because wengine you know, unaona ameolewa na Mjaluo, Mkikuyu nini, so 10. Haya. Wakamba.
If you are voting tribal, they'll go with their tribesman, right?
So tuseme amepata.
So he cannot get anything from that block.
No, tuseme apate.
No, if they have their man, we are saying tribal vote.
Yeah, but
this
now,
is the tribal arithmetic.
But with Kalonzo, we can never tell.
No. I'm saying, as it is now, he's a candidate.
Yeah, but with Kalonzo,
as it is now, he's a candidate.
Oh, as it is, Kalonzo is running.
He has said openly.
Oh, wow. Okay, that changes it. Okay, kama Kalonzo is running, then Wakao
Kando.
Ruto asahau. Haya, tukuje kwa Luya.
Natembeya is being tormented by the state for saying Tawe. Do you think he can get all that 12.8?
No, tuseme atapate 5.
Ampatie hiyo 5.
Haya.
That is 15.
Atapata 15%. Wajaluo. Of course, hawa atapata wote.
Assuming, I don't think so, but assuming, argument's sake, give him.
Baba.
No, assuming, but give him, for argument's sake. What is the percentage that he has?
28.
The Gema vote is at 35%.
Gema. Haya. Si bado unakuja kwa Gema. Pia Wakikuyu, si Wakikuyu wote, wa Murima wote wanasema Ruto must go.
What that tells you, off the blocks, even with, assuming even he has all Luos, assuming he has all Kambas, all Kalenjins, assuming, which is impossible. Off the blocks, he's a very weak candidate. He's at 28. That is plus half Luyas.
Wacha tumongeze Wakikuyu. Come on, guys, msikwe hivyo.
It can.
Let's do Let's do, guys. Why are we being emotional? I thought we are a media house. We are supposed to be.
What I was telling you, Obinna, what we are saying is this. What we are saying is this.
Yeah.
The numbers, the path to power is narrow. It doesn't exist for him. But that is on tribal voting. As we are on issue voting.
Tutakuja kwa safina. Tutakuja kwa safina. Ngoja kwanza tumalize hapa hii hesabu, tumalize kitu kabisa. Tumuongeze 10.
From where?
Wakikuyu.
From where?
Si watu Mrima.
Where? They have left him. His MPs are being stoned there and they go to the village. Just can't get it.
So there's no way Ruto is winning 2026.
There's no path to power. I've told you, I'm a student of elections. I study trends.
Without,
but I've told you 54% of his votes are from the mountain.
So the people who are giving the direction of our country ni watu wa Mrima.
It's a major voting block you cannot ignore. Yeah. It's a major voting block. And the vote as a block, you cannot ignore it.
Tukuje kwa Baba. Tuseme Baba is running again. Tuhesabu yake.
Now, if Baba is running, I want you to understand Baba from the premise of the last elections.
Okay.
He had always, do the math.
Okay. 13 plus.
He controlled almost 3/4 of lawyers.
So tuseme hapo tumpatie 8.
He controlled all the Kambas. Yeah, Kalonzo was with him.
11.
What's the percentage of?
Ako 32.
And he was the king of others.
17.
Yeah, he was the king of Mount Kenya. I mean,
about to go 49.
Mijikenda, Kisi, all those, he was the king.
Yeah, so ako to go 49.
Ruto got some of them. So maybe out of 17, maybe didn't get all the 17.
So tumpatia at 10.
But out of that 12.
12.
That is
44.
That is what made Raila competitive. So he can only be competitive if he gets all those blocks. He maintains.
Wow.
As things stand today, be honest to him. Does he have that whole block intact? As things stand today.
Missing a lawyer.
Because Kalonzo is wobbling, right? He's not with Raila.
Yeah.
So 44 minus the Kalonzo contribution, it's minus what?
So basically
Western
for someone to be a president, if you don't have the Gamer block, it's a little bit tricky.
It is not a little bit tricky. It is difficult but doable. In 2017, we did it with Raila. Until Uhuru had to rig. But you must have a narrative. Supreme Court caught him rigging.
Who?
Supreme Court caught Uhuru Kenyatta rigging elections.
Aye.
His declaration of election was found to be null and void. It was prone with illegalities and irregularities. In the election lingua, we call that rigging.
Then why was he still president?
See, there it was nullified. He had to go for a fresh election. His first election was nullified. The one of 9th of August, 8th of August 2017. It was nullified by the Supreme Court on the 1st of September.
Kawatandika.
Raila didn't participate in that one.
Why didn't he participate?
The infrastructure for elections had been rigged. So why are you walking into a kitchen? We had to swear in our president on the 30th of January 2018 at Uhuru Park.
I remember. You were also there?
I was there. I wrote the oath. Oath writer.
But alisoma
the one who carried the Bible. He read it and signed it in public, and Miguna endorsed it, commissioned it as commissioner of oaths. Okay. The people's president was sworn in. I was there to keep it.
Na bado tear gas ikacheza.
Haikucheza hiyo siku. We were planning now to take our president to State House. Before it happened, he went to Arambe House. Handshake. On the 9th of March 2018.
You guys felt betrayed, eh?
No, we didn't feel betrayed.
Eh.
He was the leader. So once the leader has reached a destination, what do? You can't... When your general has ordered people to stand down, what do you do? Now you start your own political path.
Okay.
That's why I'm in Safina now.
Aya, Kalonzo. Tupige sabu yake. Kalonzo is running for president.
Yes.
Tuseme amkuja na Wakamba wote. 11.2. Aya, anapata nani mwingine?
Tell me, who does he have apart from Wakamba?
Mimi sijui, mimi ya nini.
He must also get that Mount Kenya block as a block to be competitive. Without it,
so tuseme hata apate Wakikuyu 10.
It's still 21.
21. Apate Wajaluo kama 5. 26.
Are you seeing how it's difficult?
Apate Waluya kama 5. 31.
31.
Apate Wakale wawili. 33.
You did 50% plus 1, my friend. 50% plus 1. For you to understand those numbers, I want you to look at 2017 elections. That is when the GMR numbers were tested.
Yeah.
Uhuru will campaign here in Kiambu, go to Nyeri, go to Nakuru, here in Nairobi, go to somewhere in Rift Valley, come back. Go to Kericho, Bomet, come back to Nairobi. But Raila had to go to somewhere, the village somewhere for the Jeps in Baringo. He had to go. He has to go to Mandera. He has to go to Moyale. He has to go to Loitoktok. He must spend 5 days in Turkana. He must go to Coast for 5 days. He must spend 3 days in Kisii. Why? Off the blocks, Uhuru Kenyatta had Kalenjins and Kikuyus, the Mount Kenya. He had 40. He was starting at 46.
Yeah.
He's looking for only 4% plus 1. Off the blocks, Raila had Luyas, Kambas, Luos, 36. Uhuru had a 10% advantage over Raila. Off the blocks. So Raila had to work twice
Extra
as hard, and he had to go to every village. So it was not an easy thing to defeat Uhuru in 2017, but we did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rigi G.
Even him.
Skiza ground.
Akiskiza ground, if he carries the Mount Kenya block with him, he's a formidable player.
So akona 35% tumeanza.
Where does he have support beyond Mount Kenya?
Rigi G.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
No. We are still not going that politics. We are still analyzing based on
tribal.
Yeah, because even in all those tribes, they are Gen Zs.
So some Luos.
Beyond Mount Kenya, Rigi G does not seem to have an audience. So far, he may have, I don't know. But so far, his audience is limited to the mountain.
So only 35.
So far, 35. He must get another partner. If we are doing tribal politics, he must get another partner. He must get another partner. If he gets Natembea, Tawe, maybe they can swing some parts of the western vote.
Kipata wa 12. Wako 47.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's a nice move.
Yeah.
If Rigiji gets Natembea
and the entire western bloc, he cannot win on his own in the mountain. But that is based on tribal politics.
Okay. Aya, turudi ingine. Sasa tuache now tribal politics.
Yes.
So kuna ingine gani?
Sasa the next campaign, where Safina belongs.
Yeah.
As we are non-tribal.
Okay.
Our tribes are not meant to be the basis of organizing our politics.
Okay.
Because the last I went to the shops, I never found a shop that is marked for Kikuyus, for Luos, for Kalenjins. Kenyans shop in the same place. Our economic challenges affect all Kenyans irrespective of their tribes.
Okay.
So in Safina, we believe in ideology politics, where we want to deal with the problem of the nation. And the problem is the economy. It's not your tribesman.
Okay.
And on the economy, it is something that unites the whole country. When we are saying we are coming up with economic policies to change the lot of our people, it affects everybody irrespective of their tribe. Kenyans today are paying, out of every 100 Kenya shillings KRA collects, they are spending 70 shillings on debt finance, illegal debt. On 30th of April 2025, let me give you the latest actuals. The National Treasury released actuals, statement of actuals of revenue and expenditure. Actuals.
Okay.
The collections as at 30th of April from your tax money was 1.8 trillion. What you've collected, your tax money, buying water, what your charges.
What Kenya collected?
What Kenyans have
from
paid.
Kenyans?
From Kenyans.
1.8
trillion. You have paid as debt finance, as at that date, 1.2 trillion. Are you understanding?
What do you mean debt finance?
What you've paid, the deni umelipa.
Deni ya nani?
Deni ya Wakenya, umelipa mabengi. 1.2 trillion.
Like hizi loan tumechukua nini?
Ninakwambia, I'm just looking at first your statement of accounts. 1.8 trillion is what you've collected in your pocket. From the 1.8 trillion that you've collected, you have paid 1.2 trillion outside as debt finance. Umelipa deni, interest, and outstanding.
Sema KRA wamelipa.
Kenya, KRA is your agent.
Sema Kenya imelipa.
Kenya imelipa.
Si, because unasema Nicola, 1.8 trillion.
Kenya.
Oh, so Kenya wamelipa 1.2
trillion.
Tumelipa deni zenye tuko nazo.
Part of payments, yes.
Deni za nini hizo?
Deni ni mingi. Your debts by day is 11 trillion. As of today.
We owe people
11 trillion. Kenyans, you owe 11 trillion.
I hope watu wa Tanzania hawajui story. But si kulikuwa na story that we already finished paying our debt a long time ago.
Based on that Safina Party forensics.
Wanjigi was saying the thing.
We have done our forensic audit of our debt. And we've looked at what have we borrowed. When somebody tells Kenya that you've borrowed 11 trillion, we've looked at the books. In our laws, for you to borrow, you must get, number one, Parliament approval. Okay? Parliament must approve it. Then number two, you only borrow for development. In the 10 years from 2013 to 2023, Kenya Parliament only approved borrowing of 2.2 trillion. Approved. Why is it 11 trillion? That's our problem. Those are illegal debts to us. Where are these money that have been borrowed? Where are the projects worth 11 trillion in Kenya? 11 trillion, what it can do?
Where?
Now, that is the conversation Safina Party wants to have. That the debt that you are paying for, all Kenyans are paying for it, irrespective of their tribe. We are saying this debt, the bulk of it is illegal. It's odious. We will not pay. We will not pay odious debt as Safina Party.
So mutakataa kulipa deni.
Hatutalipa deni ya bandia.
So mutasema tulipa.
Hatutalipa.
Now watu wanatudai.
Let those people who gave out the money go after the people they gave the money. I'll give you an example. Eurobond 1, $2 billion US dollars. 2 billion US dollars. 1 billion when Raila was making noise in 2014, Treasury CS then Henry Rotich released a SWIFT document showing of 1 billion, part of it used to retire an old debt, part of it came to Central Bank of Kenya, Exchequer account, accounted for. Okay? It was true. They accounted for 1 billion US dollar. 1 billion, when more noise were made by Raila and the team, and Rotich released the SWIFT, the money, they redacted where the money has gone. It went to somebody's private account in Qatar. Why should Kenyans people pay for it? Why?
1 billion.
1 billion US dollars went to somebody's private account. Why should you ask these Kenyans to pay for it? In Safina administration, that is an odious debt we will not pay.
Do you know?
And all other debts which were taken illegally that didn't come into Kenya, we will not pay. That is the new politics.
Billion
US dollars, 130 billion Kenya shillings.
to Kenya. Eh?
130 billion Kenya shillings. 130 billion Kenya shillings.
Korir. Wacha nikurudusie hii uone. Unaona one bob. Unachanga mpaka ifike 1,000. Unachanga 1,000 mpaka ifike 1,100. Unafanga 1,110 na kwa mita mo. Unapanga mita moja ngapi ifike 1 billion?
1,000. Yes.
1,000. Juu ikifika 100 hiyo tu ni 100 million. So unapiga 100 million times 10. Hiyo ni 1 billion. Sasa ili ifike
130 billion.
Wow. Kuna mtu alitumiwa 130 billion yetu.
Yes.
Kwa akaunti yake Qatar.
That is just one instance on Eurobond 1. Our debt today is 11 trillion. Our forensic audit even tells you for 10 years, in fact, as of 2024, Parliament approved debt of 2.2 trillion. We are told our debt that time was 10 trillion. Our repayment, what we have paid, 5.4 trillion. Money coming out of central bank to pay for debt. But yet you owe 11 trillion. We'll do an audit of the debt. So Kenyans who want to have a proper economic conversation of our country, Safina is the place.
Do we know
Not
whose
tribe.
account is in Qatar?
Of course, it will be traced.
So umejua ni nani?
We know.
Ni nani?
We know the people, the companies, the proxies.
Who?
They are here in Kenya.
They're part of our leadership.
Yes. Are you ready to be sued? We go to court together. Me, I'm ready to be sued with you.
No, si wewe ndo unasema, mimi ndashuka tu. Sema mimi mimi niko tayari, hata kama nivae miwani.
But
Sema
it
nitoe
is
miwani.
not. The persons of interest, people who should be asked to explain this, the one who signed the presidential warrants to spend money, the one who is the director, audit the accountant general, and his deputy, who are the signed signatories of the account in JP Morgan. Yeah, they should explain how the 1 billion was handled. And down the line, everybody who has signed a presidential warrant on borrowing and spending should explain.
So Safina party nyinyi pikipiki ponki.
Oh, tunaingia tunasema tulipi. Tulipi, let those banks in Mozambique. If at the time when Kenyans took the Eurobond one, Mozambique also took tuna bond, $2 billion US. Mozambicans went to court and they said this money was taken without following our laws. This debt is odious, we are not paying. They said no. Do you know what happened? Their court said, yes, you cannot pay for what is illegal. Credit Suisse, you are not paying you as Mozambique. Mozambique government, don't pay that debt. Consequence, Credit Suisse collapsed. Executives in jail. Head of intelligence then in jail. Minister of Finance that time in jail. Former President Son in jail. In Mozambique, here, down south.
Why are we not doing it in Kenya?
That is where we are heading to. We have court cases on this question already. We are saying we want to see an audit of our debt. That is the conversation Safina wants to have in our politics, not tribe.
Okay. Deni gani ingine tuko nayo?
Deni ni mingi. It's 11 trillion. There's an American the other day, 2-3 years ago, went to declare in their, because under to the IRS, you must declare your expenditure. Some American billionaire declares he's given Kenya government almost 400 billion. In Kenyan books, you can't even see it.
400 B.
Yes, it's given a loan. Yeah.
Amepea Kenya.
Amepeana
Kenya gani?
as a loan. Yeah.
Hii Kenya yetu hii.
Yes. There's only one Republic of Kenya. On this side, we have no sight of it. And there are so many other loans like that. You go to the Appropriations Act, Obinna. The Appropriations Act is where you are supposed to list down all your revenue sources and get parliamentary approval. That debt is not there. And many other debts which we've taken are not there.
Zinapitishwa tu kunyuma.
People are...
So nachukua loan inaingia kwa mfuko ya mtu, wa Kenya wanaambiwa lipeni.
Lipeni. What comes to Kenya is obligation
So
to pay.
tumeweka watu.
Yes.
Sisi tumeweka watu. Sini
Go, don't even go far, by the way. Domestic banks here. Domestic borrowing. These treasury bills and bonds, Kenyans banks are buying from government. I've told you, our laws say, borrow money for development. That's the Public Finance Management Act. And you must get parliamentary approval. Somebody wakes up and says, I'm going to borrow 1 trillion from the domestic market. Where's the parliamentary approval? Where is the project to be financed? It's not there. Banks are buying those treasury bills and bonds from government. Then you ask the Kenyan people to pay. What are they borrowing for? Today, as I sit here, the domestic stock, the domestic banks have lent to Kenya government almost 5.5 trillion debt stock that they are holding. Show me those projects worth 5.5 trillion.
Hey. Wow.
That is the conversation Safina party wants to have. And if you think your tribal voting will sort your economic problems, it will not.
Mutu wetu.
This Mutu wetu thing will not solve your economic problems. Understand it this way. And with all due respect to the others, in the last election, Raila Odinga was a candidate. Ruto was a candidate, right? Raila Odinga's running mate was Martha Karua. Ruto's running mate was Gachagua. Previously, Kalonzo had been Raila's running mate. Today, Raila and Ruto are in BBG. The other side, United Opposition, is Kalonzo, Wamunyoro, and Martha. All the deputies on one side, all the presidents on one side, and you expect a change. The deputies are on one side, the president on one side. And you think you have a choice here. There's no choice. Kenyans need to be smarter.
Go for the lesser evil.
Listen, the point is, there is no evil here. These are the same. Jimmy puts it very well. This that you are witnessing, this is just the virus of Jubilee that mutated into Omicron and Delta. Delta went with Ruto, Omicron went with Azimio.
Wanjigi himself, who is saying how this system is bad, was and has been part of the system for the longest.
He's never been part of this.
It is said that he was funding, it is alleged, to me, because
he's never held any public office.
Not holding public office, but we all know that sometimes the decisions that are made, they are made with coffee tables. So the story is, he's been at play on the table in a couple of things, including the SGR was being pitched for, and a couple of few developments here and there. And he was the BFF of a couple of our leadership, and even funded some of them. And he's even gotten a couple of tenders to supply the military, the arms and everything on that side. How come all of a sudden he's coming and say, hey, wait a minute, now I'm different, but they say birds of a feather?
Let me tell you, Obinna, and I hope you invite Wanjigi to come here to speak.
No, you bring him.
No,
I'll try to find him.
I'll bring him.
Okay.
I promise you.
Okay.
But I'll say this. The first point that you must consider is this.
Okay.
The easiest way out for Wanjigi, if you wanted to, is to go and join the MUST. That's the easiest. Yes, he knows them. The easiest thing for him to do, if you wanted money out of this our political conversation, is just to join them.
No, money he already has.
No. I'm saying, if that is what he wanted, the easiest thing is to join the MUST. But he's chosen not to. Why? Because even his differences with Uhuru Kenyatta, when he comes here, he'll explain to you, for Jubilee. It was purely on the economic policy. You mentioned SGR. In his previous interviews on Citizen TV, he explained it very well. SGR as a project, he conceptualized it as a private sector project, not government money. Not even a coin to come from Kenya government. It was him with a consortium to put it up using their own money, not government money. Uhuru Kenyatta and the administration felt they were going to take a loan from China, 350 billion, that mutated to 500 billion. 500 billion, that train to nowhere, goes to Duka Moja is the destination. Duka Moja here in Naivasha. Just before Naivasha, Maimayu, Kedong. 500 billion down the drain. Huh? That's what you borrowed from China.
For SGR.
SGR.
Those old raggedy trains.
That SGR train that you're using here. And it costs you 30 million shillings every day to run that train. It makes 18 million.
Huh?
Yeah.
Running SGR every day is 30 million?
Yes.
And it's making how much every day?
18. You're running a loss-making entity every day. So every day the Chinese running the train are just billing you to subsidize for the loss. The Kenyan taxpayer is carrying that nonsense.
So ilikuwa dili ya Wanjigi akarushwa?
No, nakuwekwa dili yake. He said you cannot do an SGR using public money. A train cannot open up a market. Do a road from Mombasa to Kisumu and Malaba. 8 lanes, my friend. Kisumu will be 2.5 hours. I'm in Kisumu. I'll be living in Kisumu and working in Nairobi. 3 hours I'm here. 8 lanes.
Then what happened?
Uhuru felt the train was better than the road. Then he said, since I was the father of the concept, I have to distance myself. And he distanced himself. Uhuru took ownership of the train. It became his project. There it is, its legacy. The easiest thing Wanjigi could have done was simply to say, okay, see, there's money here to be eaten. Let's come eat it together. He said no.
How much was the highway?
The highway was coming to around 200 billion that time. And you see, the beauty about highway is this. You have World Bank estimates that can tell you the cost per kilometer of building a highway. So you know how much it will cost you. It was around 200 billion, I think, plus compensation.
200 billion.
All the way to Malaba and Kisumu.
8 lanes.
8 lanes.
Uku 8
like Thika Road.
eight.
You know Thika Road?
4.
You've seen Thika Road.
Yeah.
Take Thika Road, the entire road to Malaba and Kisumu.
Tukamwa tuende train ya 500 billion. The train which was also costing 350 but sasa tukapandisha kwa
tulifikisha 500 billion to duka moja to nowhere, train to nowhere.
But kuna story that they want to extend the train tena nataka iendelee.
So where?
Story.
Let's
nataka iende mpaka huko nini.
Let me tell you, let's speak the truth. It's important that we speak the truth. Whereas, in as much as the people of Kisumu wishes the train gets to Kisumu, in the current circumstances, it will not. Maybe another funding model. Maybe another. These people will not do it. It's not making any economic sense to run the train. SGR as a concept, why it was even going to Malaba and Kisumu, was because you need to expand it into the interior, hinterlands, Uganda, into DRC. That's what we are looking towards. Opening up the continent to get larger markets. Now, what you have as SGR, if you ask me, that is a supermarket trolley for Chinese goods that gets into Kenyan market. You are dropping off Chinese goods and it goes back to Mombasa empty. What does it carry from the hinterland to the port? The concept of a train is not to carry passengers.
Heavy cargo.
It is cargo.
Yeah,
even when the Mzungu came here to build a train,
for raw materials,
they were building it for raw materials to come from the hinterland to the port, not to carry goods from the port to the hinterland. What is that?
Expressway?
Expressway. That is a private entity, a private enterprise owned by somebody.
Expressway ni ya mtu.
Yeah, that's a private. They call it a PPP. It's owned by somebody. It's a private road. You're paying for it. I will not be surprised if there's a link to it with SGR. Okay. Every time you pay for the expressway, you are paying into somebody's private pocket.
Okay. Since I'm already boiling with rage, and we know that most of these problems, hata si Ruto ameleta, zilianza before na akapata na akapata ngori za watu wengine. For example, like SGR is not his problem. That was a previous regime which he was part of.
Walianzisha pamoja.
Okay, he was also part of that one. Okay, in the current regime, do we have anything that is working? Hata nyinyi mmekaa chini mkasema yenyewe nataka kufagia wote, hii wamepata right. This one they got it right.
Imagine I can't get.
Unafikiria hivyo kufigure out what is working?
I can't.
Affordable housing?
Let me explain affordable housing. You are building it using public land, on public land, right? You are collecting public money. People pay housing levy for it.
Yes.
Then you are selling it at commercial rates. In fact, no, it's not. It is commercial rates. Go to similar prices in the same localities, it's almost the same. And even the quality of houses, the private sector will do it much better. Why can't affordable housing work? Let me give you an example. They've put up now 110 units in Homa Bay. 110 units in Homa Bay. The population of Homa Bay is almost 700,000. Yani, you look at Homa Bay, you found that the problem is to house 110 people. Homa Bay sits on the shores of Lake Victoria. You even took time to put up a pier into the lake that you hope fish will land and they walk nicely off the beach. You don't even bother to say, okay, we are putting up a fish processing plant at the end of the pier. Hakuna
fish processing plant.
You've not put up, there's none there. You've not even bothered to tell the fisherman that I'm putting up this refrigerator, a big one, that can store your fish, your catch, for even 1 month. It stays fresh. Wewe, umejenga nyumba 110, then umejenga
landing pad.
A landing pier. You will not even bother to train or give these fish farmers access to loans at a cheaper interest rate to buy equipment, to put up fish cages.
Or even look for markets.
Or even look for markets for them.
To sell.
You have victory farms in Homa Bay, for crying out loud. The information is there. All you need to do is just put these farmers together, these fish farmers together, and empower them, give them a boost. Yani, you thought all of that, in the midst of all of that.
Affordable housing.
In Homa Bay, just wait. There's a place called Othoro. As the sweetest sweet potato in the whole country. In fact, sub-Saharan Africa is found in Othoro, here in Homa Bay. The sweetest. When they harvest sweet potatoes, it's madness. They'll sell for you a sack of sweet potatoes from here to that rooftop there at throwaway price. Because it's there in plenty. You couldn't even think that in Othoro, Homa Bay, let us just put up a potato processing plant to help these farmers to value add on their potatoes and get them new markets. Yani, you wanted 110 houses. 110, eh? And then people go clapping for you. So the point is this. Affordable housing, why it failed, in my view. The housing problem in this country cannot be addressed by government. It should be addressed by the private sector. What is stopping that poor teacher in Homa Bay from building a studio apartment in Homa Bay? If he goes to the bank, the interest rate is 20%. He can't afford it. Get out of domestic borrowing. Allow the private individual in Homa Bay to be able to access capital. They will put up those houses at a cheaper cost. In fact, one person will put up even 1,000 units if he has access to capital, identify a market niche. And that will be across the entire country. Government has no business being the driver of affordable housing. It should be private sector driven. That is Safina Party for you.
Oui.
Providing tangible solutions to our problems. But legacy politicians, because they want a photo op, they want to be there. You clap at them. Tap them in the back. The other day I was on TV with an affordable, with the legacy politician who was from Nandi County, celebrating that they've been put up for 200 housing units in Nandi County. That has 875,711 residents. 200 housing units. And they have the audacity to say, we start from somewhere. What are you talking about, my friend? That pettiness of legacy politics is what Safina Party lost interest in. We don't have patience for mediocrity.
Baka Korir pia na boil na anga na Korir kwangi na hasira. Airport kuuzwa. Had the story? From the legal point of view, nikoshwa mulifanya research zenyu. Was it true that ilikuwa inauzwa ama ilikuwa ni siasa?
There was a proposal, a PPP was proposed. And that PPP, they were going to hand over the airport for 30 years.
30 years?
Yes.
Wape mutu?
Yeah, that was the proposal in the PPP that was being considered. You know, I'm telling you, and Kenyans, we must get rid of legacy politicians. I'm sorry to say this. They have to leave office. Obinna, even if you wanted to lease the airport or to get capital to improve it, what will stop you from saying, okay, this is a prime asset? Airport earns money every day unless there is corona.
Yes.
Why not just say that we need how much capital? We need 100 billion. How are we going to raise it? Government of Kenya, we are going to raise 20%. I'm giving the Kenyan people an opportunity to raise 35% of it. Do a rights issue. I'm looking for a strategic investor to take a 25% or 30%. I'm targeting Kenyans in the diaspora. I'm giving you this percentage. You buy. Then people have co-ownership. You've raised the funds. You've brought a strategic investor who has the expertise to run the airport. And you've given Kenyans who want to buy
dividends and the rest.
To get dividends. They'll be earning every year.
Yeah.
Legacy politicians do not want you to be kings. They want you to be paupers.
Have you read the Finance Bill 2025?
I've seen excerpts of it. I've not know that bill to begin with. This time, it was being hidden like weed. Bang. Ipande kanjaga. Didn't want anybody to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah? But from what I've seen, it has not disappointed. Increasing charges, taxes, and levies. But do you know why they'll keep doing that? And it's important Kenyans understand this. I didn't finish for you the question of how much. As of April, we had paid 1.2 trillion, collected 1.8 trillion. As at the end of June, this month, 30th of June, our debt repayments for this year, unless we default, as at the end of this month, debt repayments for this financial year is 1.9 trillion. Our projected collections for this year is 2.3 trillion. You're only left with 400 billion. Next year, based on projections, maturing debts, principal payments, and interest, we are paying debt of 2.2 trillion. I think it's 2.1 trillion. If we don't increase our taxes, if they don't increase our taxes, and you maintain the same collections, 2.3 trillion, it means everything you're collecting next year is going to debt finance. So they are going to increase their taxes, charges, and levies.
That's where they're collecting the money from.
That is why they want to bankrupt you, to finance the illegal borrowings. That's why Safina Party, we start with the debt.
What's your plan with the taxes in Safina Party?
If we declare this debt odious, the first thing is we are going to reduce your taxes. You are paying more to pay for this odious debt, right? And we are committing that we are going to declare this debt odious. What was taken illegally, we are not paying. Correct? See, naturally, we must extend the same to the people. And I'll give you one example, what we'll do.
Okay.
VAT on fuel is at 16%. I hear they want to increase it to 18%. It's not 16%. See, we've reduced the burden of taxation of Kenyans. We're not paying odious debt. VAT on fuel should be 5%. Who pays VAT? Yeah. VAT is paid by the individual, right? It is you who remits it. Our commitment will be we are reducing VAT 5% or even
From
less.
16 to 5%?
Yes, VAT on fuel. On fuel, one component. We are reducing it to 5%. So you are the one who pays it. Power in the hands of the people. Go to the tank. If a petrol attendant tries to charge you VAT at 16% under Safina administration, take the law into your hands and deal with him. He's a thief. Let him reconfigure his machine, 5% VAT on fuel. Power in the hands of the people. That's what we're going to tell you to Tatenga. It is you.
How will you get the road levy if you reduce the VAT?
No.
That,
road levy is a separate tax on the fuel, on the petrol pump price. I'm talking about, you are paying 16% VAT on fuel. Okay. I'm picking that component.
So you don't
it must
reduce.
come down
from
16 to 5. For example, we'll come up with a manifesto and sell to the people. Tell them this is our commitment. Our style is different. With the savings we are going to make out of not paying illicit debt, when you do the math, what it takes you to run primary, secondary, and tertiary education in this country, you have 2.2 trillion you are not paying off as debt. Yeah, we are not paying illegal debts. You have 2.2 trillion. We are able to go and afford to pay for everybody education from primary to university and tertiary.
There's this story for HELB and this one that the politicians give.
Funding and bursary.
Bursary.
Yes.
There was a Senator Karungo was recommending that instead of the government giving people money so they can pay the government, why can't the government just put the money in the system? Which I thought was brilliant. I'm like, just why are you giving us money to give you back money?
So that legacy politicians become irrelevant. So you must understand what is going on.
That is where they nimekupata.
These are legacy politicians antiques. Yeah. They want to control you.
Yeah. Oh, mheshimiwa anatupeanga basi pesa yetu.
Yes.
Instead of just putting the same, say education is free. So in Safina Party, education is going to be free.
It will be free. And we're able to fund it. The Kenyan people will fund it from their collections.
Okay. You heard the story that Bomas of Kenya imeuzwa?
Bomas of Kenya, somebody has been given, they are calling it a leasehold. If you give somebody a leasehold of 30 years and the person is 60 or 70, see, amechukua for life. Yeah. If you are 70, you don't expect to live for 30 years. Even if you live for 30 years, that's a bonus.
Wow. It's fine. Youth unemployment. We have a high rate of unemployment. Like, I know if I meet 10 young people, 9 of them are like, maze Obinna, maze
Obinna,
tukitaka nafasi maze, sutuweke mali, maze hapo Obinna show live, maze mimi najua kushutuma video, niko like, niko na 34 people, wenye pia kama hivyo wanafanya shughuli. But pia you don't see hope of them getting employment because hata wale wenye haya pia wana let go. Nowadays people are working more digitally, more from home and everything. What are you guys going to do about it?
You know, the greatest challenge in the job sector in this country today is a shrinking production. Safina Party, we believe in something, and I want Kenyans to understand this, something called supply-side economics. What you are going through is demand-side economics. Serikali saidia, serikali. where they believe government is the driver of economic development. In supply-side economics, which Safina Party we believe in, we believe that the growth of the economy should be private sector driven. And there are three components of supply-side economics that will help us create jobs for our people. Number one, you're saying identify and remove any government barrier. What is hindering the private sector from growing? I've given you an example. Our young people here have ideas. They have great ideas.
Yeah.
What they lack is capital.
Okay.
A young man goes to a commercial bank today, you are told interest rate is 20%. He can't afford it. So with your idea, you start looking for an alternative means of earning a living. But imagine if the government of Kenya stopped borrowing from the domestic market. The banks that are holding your money and my money, they have money with them. Today they sit comfortably in their private offices, drinking tea, air conditioned. They know Kenya government is going to come and borrow from them at 14% interest rate. They do nothing. See, the government is coming to borrow from them. The same government will go to the Kenyan people and rob them off through more taxes to pay for this interest rate. The banks are sleeping. Get out of domestic borrowing as a government. We will get out of domestic borrowing. These banks will be forced to go and start hawking loans here. They'll be competing at interest rates.
Yeah.
Instead of 20%, it will come down to 4%, 5%.
That's true.
3%.
That part I agree with you.
With ideas that Kenyans have and access to capital, what can these Kenyans do? It will change. So you'll see jobs. These young people you're telling are asking for jobs. In fact, your problem is going to be, Obinna, siwezi kupata mtu akupea kazi. Everybody's a little king running his own biashara or employed somewhere.
Even the
they're earning
permits
better.
are quite expensive.
Yeah.
Huh? Just
Remove.
getting
Look at even that. Like these young people who go to CBD
Yeah.
on Sunday. You know, sometimes I just go to Nairobi CBD every Sunday. I find time to just go to CBD just to see the beauty of the creativity of our young people, how innovative they are, taking pictures and building a community online with their content. Then somebody comes at, oh, you must pay for which license? What is your contribution to that young man that he should pay for that license? This is somebody who's only access, he only has a phone. The ideas are in his head. He's identified a market, internationally or even locally, that he can shoot and sell to. Now you are telling him, putting a barrier, that you need a license. You don't need a license. In Safina Party, you don't need a license to shoot anything. Remove government barriers. Those I'm explaining to you, Obinna.
Yeah.
The components of supply-side economics. Remove government barriers. Then, on supply-side economics, reduce taxes. In supply-side economics, you understand that what hinders economic growth is high taxes. And once we reach a Laffer curve, like Kenyans will reach Laffer curve, people have been taxed to a point of no return. They have nothing more left in their pockets. They stop operating within the system. So, with my example of fuel, oil, petrol, because you put 16% VAT on fuel, now many Kenyans are dropping tractor plowing. They are going to hand plowing. They're using oxens. So you are selling less, even of that fuel.
Less production.
Less production.
Yeah.
That is where we are. Supply-side economics. And we believe our policies are going to change the economic trajectory of this nation. It will not be about legacy politics. It will be about every Kenyan will become a little king wherever they are.
All righty. Coming back with a quick fire, we're taking a short commercial break. Let's talk to you about Mr. Frames Kenya. Let's talk about Gold Child Media Institute as well. We're going to be right back.
Welcome to Goldchild Media Institute, where talent meets opportunity. This is the place where your media dreams come alive. And guess what? We've got something for everyone. Do you love the camera? We offer videography and photography classes. Action! Shoot! Take. Jesus. Nimepiga nani picha. And for those who love music production, yes, we have the course. Mpaka wale wama chiki 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 anguka sound and graphic design. And trust me, this is just the start. We offer so much more. Over here at Goldchild, it's all practical learning, no boring theory. Basically, here at Goldchild Media Institute, we prepare you with the real skills for you to thrive in the real world.
At Goldchild, I feel like a pro already.
Enroll today by dialing the number on the screen and find us in Nairobi Development House.
All right, welcome back. Things are getting a little heated over here. I'm on the edge. I'm boiling with rage because of a couple of informations that I get to find out every day. When I work with a couple of people, I learn a few things and I'm just like, how much money is enough? How evil can someone be? This and that. There's so many things. But unajua waheshimiwa wote wanakuanga hivyo mpaka wakuwa elected. That is when you realize kumbe ulikuwa umeelect kibonzo kingine. Wanakuanga wazuri. Unaona venye wakili ako tu mzuri hapa anatuambia this and this we Safina party nini. Wanachukuanga kiti hivi unasema kumbe huyu ndo alikuwa hivi. But we're gonna find out. Let's start our quick fire. Do you believe the judiciary in Kenya is still independent?
Partly. I believe the bulk of the judiciary is independent.
Yeah.
The ones who do the legwork, especially the lower courts, High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, I'm not sure. Supreme Court is a political court and it's captured.
Supreme Court?
Yes.
Supreme Court yetu imeenda?
Imeenda, it's captured. They give some decisions that don't make sense. They say this today, tomorrow they say the opposite of what they say today.
Well,
that is why I call it captured. I have more faith in the Court of Appeal going down than the Supreme.
One legal reform that Kenya desperately needs and keeps avoiding.
We have to make counties work.
Okay.
We need to discuss the question of devolution deeply. To devolve finance, devolve resources. We are still not doing it.
Okay. Impeachment of Riggy G, was it warranted and was it legal?
The legal process was not properly followed. Riggy G didn't get his due process of the law. Deserved as it was that he should be impeached, he was entitled to a fair legal process. I don't think he got a fair legal process.
Okay.
Deserved as his impeachment was.
IEBC. The IEBC chair is a friend to Nanok. Nanok is State House Chief of Staff.
Yes.
That means, by extension, is a close friend to the president. Okay? IEBC Commissioner Hassan Noor. The parliamentary minority leader, Junet, that is the in-law. Junet is also inside the broad-based government.
Chief principal.
Does this cause a conflict? Does it create a conflict within the IEBC and what they're going to do in 2026? And does the constitution allow or give the competitor a mandate to appoint IEBC commissioners or chair?
What happens is this. There is a genuine fear of these people being manipulated.
Okay.
But Kenyans should not fear. Don't worry. Even if William Ruto appointed his own brother to be a chairperson of the commission, I've told you how the system works. The people are going to control the elections.
Okay.
By 6 p.m. on election day, every polling station will start counting the presidential vote. Every polling station in the whole country by 6 p.m. By 9 p.m. on election night, all the polling stations in the country will have counted the presidential vote. Remember, each polling station has a maximum 600 voters. Maximum. Polling closes at 5.
By the way, you don't need a lot of time to do that.
By 9 p.m. on election night, all polling stations will have finished the presidential vote. And William Ruto will be home. It's just a matter of aggregation of the results.
And you
we have
believe
funds.
He will let it go?
Not that he has no choice. He has no choice but to follow the will of the people.
Any politician you admire, dead or alive?
Thomas Sankara.
Kenya.
The one Kenyan politician that I admire the most, based on his commitment to the common cause, was Arvin Skodek.
Who?
Arvin Skodek. Yes. He was a lawyer, selfless, non-tribal, patriotic, and committed to the cause of justice and service.
Madaraka Day being held in Homa Bay. What's your take on it?
My take of it, I mean, since they decided to devolve the celebrations of Madaraka Day, it was a welcome move. But this unfortunate experience is to try to turn it to be a political contestation. And legacy politicians using what happened at Madaraka Day to try to divide Kenyans along tribal lines. You saw the fight, the sponsored fight, state-sponsored fight online between Luos and Kikuyus. That's nonsense. Our problem is not tribe. There is no Kikuyu causing Luo's problems, and there's no Luo causing Kikuyu's problems. Our problem is legacy politicians messing up our economy. And we must tell our people the truth, from both sides.
Kasipul Kabondo, MP. What do you think about that story? You've had the stories going round?
The one about his alleged involvement?
Yes.
It's an indictment to our law enforcement agencies. That to this extent, these things are being discussed on media without even a single report from the state agencies reporting to us. Because from what we've seen, there are the reports which were made to the police. We're being updated here every day about the escapades of Kiomburi in a hotel by none other than the IG of police every day. But in Kasipul, people were killed allegedly. Reports were made to the police. Not even a single report to the public by the IG on the status of those people. There's one where a video was shown of somebody being stabbed. His intestines were falling off the body. This to me, Kasipul is an indictment to our policing. The police have failed the people of Kasipul with what happened and the allegations against Ongondo, and even with the killing of Ongondo. The police have failed them.
Boniface Mwangi story. You've seen the current ninis on the story, developments on the story.
Which one?
So he was sodomized.
Yes, I saw that, the unfortunate bit of what happened to him in Tanzania and even to Agatha.
What's your take on the whole situation? From Martha Karua, them going over there, getting returned back, Boniface Mwangi getting abducted and tortured and sodomized.
Tanzania has to decide if they want to live in the Stone Age or in 2025. Let them decide as a country whether they want to be part of this community or not. Boniface Mwangi, Martha Karua, and any citizen of East Africa, under the East Africa Community Treaty, there's what we call free movement of goods, people, labor, and services. Any citizen of the community has a right to be in any part of the community. Why is Tanzania applying double standards in respect to Kenyans and subjecting them to inhumane, degrading treatment? It's quite unfortunate. And Mama Suluhu needs to understand that human rights are inherent in every human, whether they are citizens of the country or not. Human rights are in her. They exist in the human. They are not nationality given. And if they want Kenyans to go to Tanzania, just get out of the treaty. It will be reciprocal. And come up with your stronger measures to stop Kenyans from accessing your country. It will be okay. But don't pretend you're in the community at the same time you commit this kind of things. It's quite unfortunate and we condemn it.
I saw the story, it was very sad. Too sad. Haya, tukimalizia. Salasia,
Peter Salasya is a maverick in the political scene and trying to cause waves. I mean, he's trying to get us to discuss the unconventional. And that kind of manner is what we need by then in this country.
Okay.
With the legacy politicians, you will go back to your tribal cocoons. We need those kind of conversations. They're out of the norm conversations in our politics. I agree with what he's doing. Save for when he starts talking. Huh?
When he starts talking?
When he starts talking tribal politics, that's where I disagree with him. Attacking people based on their tribes. Yeah. But in terms of offering himself as an alternative, it stands no choice because Jimmy Will is here. This is the future. Okay. Nobody stands a chance against us. The people of Kenya will decide.
Not even Ganja Man?
Nobody stands a chance against us. Even Ruto stands no chance against Jimmy.
But you do know, these are my closing submissions and remarks. You might mean well or intend well. Jimmy, umeita?
Jimmy Wanjigi, Jimmy Willy.
Jimmy Willy. Yes. Oh wow, that's interesting. So Jimmy Willy, the Safina party, you might mean well, lakini mnajua kwa ground bada muskiki.
Hakuna shida. Hata hapa tunasikiza saa hizo.
No, but I'm saying like the way.
Oh, you're saying campaign. Oh, yes.
Yeah, when you're talking on a bigger ground, nyi bada mujaanza. For example, right now, if we are to pick Gen Zs and start talking to them, hey, do you know about? You'll find even they know more about Salasya than they know. So munaanza campaign when?
Campaign, tuna launch in a very short while. The launch.
Because we need 2026.
But the plant is going on. We're having meetings underground, but Atulali.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuone mukifanya nini.
This is now the formal campaigns za kwenda juu ya magari. Hiyo ni baadaye.
Okay.
You must work on your structures, the roots.
Okay.
Zikuwe deep. So that the time you come out, people feel you.
Okay.
And we have setting the message. We have been setting the question of the election as the economy. That's where Kenyans are now.
Okay.
We were here 2 years ago. Kenyans are now here now.
Okay.
Yeah. Omtata is a committed, public-spirited individual, and his commitment is shown in how much he fights for the rule of law and governance.
Stand a chance for presidency?
Against us, it doesn't. Against Ruto, yes.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you very much.
That was nice. They want to follow you on social media. Wakupate wapi?
Ukitaka kunipata sasa on Facebook, my page is Willis Otieno.
Okay.
Official page.
Yeah.
Then on Twitter, I'm Otieno Will.
Okay.
On TikTok, I'm Piki Ponki.
Uko TikTok?
Niko TikTok. In fact, TikTok ndio kumoto. Yes.
Okay.
Piki Ponki. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Ukoma.
Tuna dance huko TikTok na Wakenya discussing serious issues and dancing, sparsing it with fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a lovely community actually on TikTok. I love TikTok. And the kind of interaction that we have on TikTok. I think of all my social media, other than Twitter, TikTok is the next most active.
Usiingie huko saa 8 usiku.
Naingia mchana. Usiku.
Saa 8 usiku. Sikia tutuma 200 tukutumie. Asante sana.
Asante.
So in a short while, I'm seeing guys with the AC. AC is in the building. We're about to have a very, very interesting conversation with that one as well. But if you haven't caught up with this one, trust me, kama umeingia late, you've heard a lot. Apparently, election next year, the 2026. I thought it was 2027. We knew it was 2027, but now we know it's 2026. And also, according to Otieno Willy, he believes that WSR is not going for a second term. That is for you to decide. All right, see you guys in a short while with the next guest. Asante sana.
Asante sana.